Bobby Marks of ESPN putting out a piece today entitled NBA Offseason Questions: The Futures of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Trae Young could be decided. And one of the first questions that he has in his piece details which NBA free agents have the most leverage going into this upcoming summer. Bobby Marks talking to a number of NBA executives around the league, posing the question, which NBA free agent has the most leverage this upcoming summer? And from the executives that he talked to, it's your very own Kyrie Irving of the Dallas Mavericks, who, of course, has got a $43 million player option this upcoming summer. If he declines that, gentlemen, he is eligible for a 5-year, $313 million contract this upcoming summer. This is on top of the fact that Anthony Davis will have his 3-year, $176 million contract extension that he signed with the Lakers. That'll kick in this upcoming season as well. Bobby, you've mentioned it before as well, that guys like PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, contract extension eligible at the end of the season as well. But the Kyrie Irving thing jumps out because we've touched on it a little bit as the season has gone on, but as we get now into the final 26 games of the season, this conversation will become much more of a larger discussion, and knowing that Kyrie could potentially get that kind of money is kind of eye-popping, given the fact that he will be 33 years old next month. Actually, Anthony Davis will be 32 next month as well. So each of these guys not only getting older, but potentially, in Kyrie Irving's case, getting that much larger of a bag, Tim Cato.
Yeah, I mean, the leverage he has is pretty obvious. It's for all the reasons we talked about it. To be a championship level team, you have to have a championship level creating guard. You have to have someone on that end. And, so Dallas doesn't really have any other choice but to sign Kyrie to really whatever he is looking for. And, on the last contract 2 years ago, Kyrie did, he didn't sign for the absolute max. Dallas had some leverage. The market wasn't there. I don't know how much the market per se has shifted, and, if Kyrie wanted to go somewhere else, I'm certain there would be teams interested. I don't know how likely it is he wants to go anywhere else. But pretty much if you're Dallas, but just by making this move, and it was kind of felt the same way, so when Kyrie signed the contract 2 years ago, a lot of people argued that who was Dallas bidding against? Why did they give him this deal if nobody else was offering that exact dollar figure? But the leverage Kyrie had to say, hey, pay me, was that Dallas just traded for him. That Dallas came out and, committed to him in the future. And if you were going to go lowball him based off what the market said, what is his desire to be here? Why would he, be committed to this team in that way? You're the ones, Dallas was the ones who traded for him. It really is a very similar situation where Dallas just committed to him being the main, lead offensive player, and, barring some, cap gymnastics that, to fit another big contract, something like that, there's really no reason for Kyrie to go to the Mavericks and think that he deserves anything other than, the max that they can sign him to, because that is what he represents to this team. That's the leverage that he has.
Oh my gosh. The optics, Bobby, of that, signing a guy to a $313 million contract when you weren't willing to give the 25-year-old the $345 million contract. The optics, my gosh.
That's not happening. Like, he's not getting a 5-year contract, and he's not getting $300 million. Like, it's just not going to happen. They're not going to do that. It's just like he can't get it from anyone else. So I disagree that Kyrie has an extraordinary amount of leverage. There's one team this summer that can sign him to a contract outright, and that's the Brooklyn Nets. And I promise you that's not going to happen. Now, he could say, I just don't want to be here. Trade me. All right. I mean, I guess that is a considerable amount of leverage, only insofar that he could potentially get a 3-year contract or 4-year contract with someone else. But no team in the NBA is going to, like, 37-year-olds just don't get 4-year contracts. Like, this is not going to happen. So I don't think that even a 4-year contract is realistic, let alone a 5-year. Now, as far as like maximizing the average annual value, for sure, I think that he has the right to ask for that. I'm not sure that he will, and I'm not sure that Dallas would do it because, again, who else is going to do it? So there is kind of like there was a couple years ago whenever they ended up, he ended up taking a little bit of a discount. I think he signed for like 3 for $130. He could have got like 3 for $150 or something. There was like a little more that he could have gotten. Mm-hmm. Maybe he gets pretty close to that, but I don't see a situation where he's able to just grab the org like this and say, give me everything that I want. I just don't think that that's the case because it's such a large number that no team in the NBA that does not have cap space, and the only team that doesn't want him. No team in the NBA could do that. So I think that this is probably quarreling over like the difference between what he's making now and 50 or 55 per year or something. But that'll all get settled, I guess, down the line. I mean, I'm pretty confident that he's going to stick around and that it won't be for the max, but it'll probably be for quite a bit of cash. And I saw it said that it would be, if it's a 3-year extension, it aligns with AD's contract, and 3 years is what Nico considers to be the future. So I think you can probably pencil in 3 years for somewhere around 150, and we'll see if I'm right or if I have egg on my face like usual.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's not going to be a 5-year deal. I think he has leverage to ask for max salary in that space. I also think you're right that it wouldn't surprise me at all if it's somewhere less than that. It will be a pay raise, but it may not be the max just based off situation and circumstance. But I think if Kyrie wanted to ask for the max, I see him as having the ability to ask for that with a straight face. Let's put it that way.
And for sure. He's great. He's an all-star. They just went to the finals. Like there's plenty of reason for him to ask for that.
But I 100% agree. Like I would expect it to be a 3-year deal, or 3-year extension, however you want to phrase it. But yeah, that does, overwhelmingly seem like the likeliest outcome here.
Anthony Davis on a 3-year, $176 million contract extension that begins next season. If he signs something similar, that would make sense, as you guys have mentioned, in terms of the timeline that Nico Harrison has created based off of the competitive window that he's looking for. But just the mere idea that Kyrie at 33 years old is in position after everything that has transpired over the last couple of years would be in a position to potentially ask for a $313 million contract is kind of wild given what has happened over the last couple of years for him and this team. But that's exactly the position that he's in going forward for this team.
We all silly like the mayor.